Ebro, Laura, Rosenberg Show.
On Rap Life Review on Apple this weekend, this was trending. I didn't see it trending, but I saw all of the comments in my Twitter feed. People are very passionate about Drake having classic albums.
Okay.
We were having a conversation at Rap Life Review about, I don't know, a laundry list of things where you're waiting on an artist to deliver your expectations, what you want from them.
Okay.
There's an ongoing conversation around, and you've had it, you've expressed this, Rosenberg, but Low on the show on Rap Life Review expressed it as well, around waiting for Drake to drop a classic hip-hop album. Like everyone knows he can. And I'm constantly like, but that's not what he wants to do, bro. Like, he's doing it his way, and he's got classic albums. Anyway, I referenced him not having classic albums. They took that clip of me just saying that.
Oh, they love it.
And I mean, the OVO hoes ran it.
But you weren't even saying that.
I was not saying.
What did you say in the clip?
They just literally took me saying that. I was like, and like Drake not having classic albums.
And Drake doesn't have a classic.
But you weren't saying that, though.
But I was referencing a list of other items, if I recall. But anyway, they took the clip and ran it up. It was great promo. I appreciate it. Complex put out a whole list of Drake's albums. People were arguing, how does Drake not have classic albums and he still got albums in the Billboard 200? Drake has classic albums. The conversation has constantly been, are they classic hip-hop albums? And that delineation, I believe, is important. I've always thought it was important.
Yeah, and people also debate if he's like top 5 because he's been known to also collaborate with people.
So there's a lot of asterisks and question marks around Drake. That's not something I made up or my own. That's the conversation.
Yeah.
Well, and in this case, you weren't even the person saying it.
I wasn't even the person saying it, but they love to. I love the promo.
Congratulations, you're inspired.
Listen,
and they love having you be the anti-Drake person.
Right. They love that.
But I this has been an argument for a long time. I don't, guys, I don't know what Drake's classic album is. So I think if you go, which one is it? And there's a debate about which one. To me, it starts to be like, well, then there's probably not one.
Well, so
that's how I view it.
So people have their
favorite.
Or their classic. That's a common thing. Oh, nothing was the same. For me, it's Take Care, whatever. But one of the things about hip-hop is hip-hop classic albums are not determined by chart position.
No.
It's been determined by a kind of unanimous celebration of an album that's unanimous across the fans and the people who critique things and the DJs. Right? Like it's, so when you say things like Jay-Z Blueprint, nobody's saying no. There's no question.
No.
Yeah, that's
true. When you say Nas Illmatic, there's no question. When you say Wu-Tang Clan 36 Chambers,
no question.
There's no question.
That's what the part that people are understanding. It's not like, does he have an album that's your favorite?
Right.
It's, has there been one that has collectively as the group been put into the classic album lexicon?
That's all.
And like, for example, Kendrick, for example, collectively, the world took Good Kid, Mad City, and they put it in.
That's right.
They said, this is a classic album. I don't even know if I think it's his best album, but that's the one. You know, like, I might think Damn is better, but Good Kid, Mad City is the one.
And for Kanye, there's like 4.
Right.
Yeah. Kanye has a bunch.
You know what I mean? So, and that's rare air.
Very rare.
You know what I mean?
Jay-Z has 2 that people put there.
Which are?
Reasonable Doubt and Blueprint.
Yep.
That Black Album is still disputed. Some
444 people have been talking about recently.
People love 444.
I love 444.
But me too. But the ones that people say are there are Reasonable Doubt and Blueprint. Yeah. That's what people.
So that was the convo in part of the hip hop, and so then it just prompted on Twitter it was like a whole thing of like.
Well, it has to be a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
Gotta have to be a whole thing. What else are we doing?
But I'll say this, man. I do appreciate the fact that there is this kind of constant push and pull between fandom and like DJs and critics in hip hop. Right? Like I like it. I love seeing it. Where there's people who like consume hip hop and have critiqued it and played it professionally. That is their life. And then fans who are like, no, this is my favorite and I disagree with this critique. Like I think that's a healthy kind of a dialogue that's constantly taking place.
The only thing that's made it unhealthy is the downside of the Drake and Kendrick thing is there is such a toxicity now when you talk about anything related to Drake and Kendrick.
So that goes back to
that sucks.
Well, so that goes to me going back to me talking about Drake being a cancer. When I said Drake is a sickness, right? When everybody's like, he called Drake a sickness.
Yeah, that was a tough line. Yeah.
It's a tough line. But your fans are a problem. Your brand is a problem in this game, bro. Like, the fact that we can't just have dialogue without sycophants going nutso about you is problematic.
Yeah, he's not the first.
No, he's not the first. He won't be the last.
Right.
But that was the current state of things where we can't even have a real dialogue about something and about music without like crazed fans.
And by the way, and the most frustrating part is without even fans who are knowledgeable of the rest of the music.
Right.
They're ruining it. Because we're trying to have a real debate here about music. No one's trying to disrespect Drake when we're analyzing if he has a classic album. I'll say it a million times. No one has more hits in the history of hip-hop than Drake.
How about this? Nobody's had a better run.
And no one's had a run like this that we've ever seen.
Ever.
There's the level of consistency over a period of time. He has a lot of things to hang his hat on. The question is, does he have a classic album? Having that debate doesn't mean you hate Drake.
Listen, there's other ones in there. The rappers he's collabed with that he's helped get #1 songs. Rappers he's or genres of music that he's worked into his
and helped elevate.
Like all of that is positive.
A lot of great stuff.
All right, but is this a Drake problem or is it a fandom problem?
Well, the problem is we found out that the bots and things are paid for.
Yeah, so I believe that that's true, and there's crazy like fans.
Well,
and
that's why
the Barbs fall under that.
But that's like it's like the Swifties, the Barbs, all of that. These fans who are just you are popular. You are a popular music fan, which is fine. You're a fan of an artist who happens to be in a genre, but you're not necessarily a hyper fan of the genre without that individual.
No, you're a fan of that individual.
Right.
That's it.
And that's the kind of nuance of it all.
Yeah. I just think I agree with that. And I just think it gets to that thing you just talked about of it's accepted as a hip hop classic. That's the part people miss because they don't communicate with other hip hop fans and they don't know what it is to sit around with other real hip hop heads and discuss music. So they didn't have that collective, Cuban Links is a classic. Supreme Clientele is a classic. Yes. These things they don't get it.
Well, we're just talking about people who just get offended at critique. That's it.
And that's a whole other thing. And that's general. Listen, but by the way, artists have always been offended by critique. Like
artists are always. They think everything they do is a classic.
And so when you offend an artist, now they ignite their sycophants and because they send out the bat signal and now they're attacking you.
Right.
Which, some of us welcome and some don't. And then you have, like I was saying, these paid bloggers who are financed to be mouthpieces for these artists, which is a whole other thing.
That happens too.
What are you laughing at, the chat?
Someone in the chat, Dude Rap said, Ro, I guess he means me because it sounds like a quote from me. He said, Ro called Take Care a good Sade album back in 2011. I remember that still. Take Care is a classic to me, but I get people who disagree. Love from Berlin. Yes, I did say that. Yeah, it's to me, it's not a classic hip hop album. I see why.
Listen, but these guys. I'm bringing this up today on this really to cross promote Rap Life Review on Apple, so you guys can tune in this week. But now we gonna have all these shows cranking now.
Oh gosh.
Listen, Drake has more hits than anyone. I give him tons of credit. To me, the bona fide, that's the classic album. Everyone agreed that's the one. Put it next to Midnight Marauders. Put it next to The Chronic.
How about this?
I don't even
think Drake fans all agree on the album,
which is a problem. For the argument's sake, it's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Dre fans aren't going, well, I battle whether and forth. It's
2001 or The Chronic.
Or The Chronic. Now, I'm a weirdo because I'm
I
right
love
there.
2001.
2001's right there for me. But
it ain't
The Chronic was the one. Sorry, it was decided. That's what it is. Doggy Style, that's the one. It got put in there.
And by the way, you might like other things.
Right, no problem. I have things that I consider to be, like I obviously consider Cowboy Carter an absolute classic. I don't believe yet that society has accepted and said, oh, yeah, we believe. Now, it's different because it's not hip-hop and we have our own conversation.
Yeah,
I don't believe that society at large has said that. I think some people, Beyonce fans, love it. Yeah. I think everybody else is like, it's cool. Not every album does everybody agree.
Now,
this is a mantelpiece.
Here's a good one. Have we all agreed on which Outkast album is the classic? Or is it two? Is it ATLians and
Aquemini?
Yeah. Some people be like, Stankonia.
Yeah.
I know.
I love Aquemini.
Which Stankonia at the time, I was like, this is cool. And now I go back to it.
And I love it a lot.
I think I think it's Aquemini. Yeah, I think it's Aquemini. But ATLiens is ATLiens, they were right there. But Aquemini, they were a next level of kind of realized, you know, when you although I gotta tell you, Rosa Parks is a song that at this stage I still don't feel like hearing. Isn't that crazy?
What would you rather have, Rosa Parks or Miss Jackson?
Oh man, that got played a lot, bro.
Miss Jackson got played.
But the drums on Miss Jackson, I'd rather hear Miss Jackson. Because the the way it starts is so hard. Even the way Rosa Parks starts, the build of the like it's just it was meant for radio. It was their radio joint. But that album is such a
but the way Skewed on the Barbie comes in.
Oh, I Skewed on the Barbie's the best, bro.
Yo, that collab,
the song Aquemini.
Raekwon and Outkast collabing at that time.
And then
nothing better.
The song Aquemini.
Yeah.
Plus both Art of Storytellings.
Oh man.
No,
I love the Art of Storytelling.
I think Aquemini is the one that most people agree is their classic.